What's up, guys? Adam Patterson out here. Welcome back. And today I want to talk about just my opinion on net worth and what my net worth looks as an entrepreneur because it's a little bit ambiguous. You never really know what your net worth is when you're an entrepreneur because the main focal point is the business. And the business is what has the most value, but you don't know what others would value it at. And I can give my business a value. It doesn't mean somebody would pay that value for it, which would mean that it's not worth it. And until you actually go out and try and sell your business or sell a portion of your business, you don't know what somebody else would value your business at. And when it comes to net worth, obviously you're talking about your assets minus your liabilities equals how much you have left. And it's that how much you have left that's important in many, many things, because if you go out and look for loans, you're going to look at a debt to income ratio. You want to keep your debts as low as possible or your liabilities as low as possible, and you want to keep your income high. With a business, your asset column is substantially larger, and you can now draw loans against your assets or use your assets as collateral to draw bigger loans. And it just becomes something that's very interesting. When I think about my net worth, I pretty much just look at what do I believe my business would be worth. Now, do I believe it would be worth a revenue multiple, a multiple of cash flow earnings to me, a multiple of the total gross profit of the company? Do I think it is a mixture of the gross profit with the projections, with the assets that are owned by the company? Maybe. I am not too sure, but if I were to actually put a number figure to it, I would try and aim for a lower number. I would think that the business I would say that it's probably worth somewhere between $300,000 and $500,000. And that is a very small multiple of gross profit. And it is a very small multiple of gross profit that has been growing pretty substantially all year. If I were to actually take the last couple months and do a rolling average of what the gross profit would be, and then use the same multiple, it would be a higher number. It would be somewhere closer to the 750 to a million mark. It all depends. And because of that, I don't actually know what my net worth would be on paper. I know what I cash flow, and I know the assets that I own in terms of my house, the business, all my miscellaneous assets. But you can never really determine your true net worth. So I can't tell you I'm a millionaire. I can't tell you I'm 100,000aire. I can tell you for sure that I'm 100,000aire just from the assets that I own, not including the business. The business is what would take me to millionaire, potential multimillionaire, and on its fourth. As a business owner, you're never really too positive about what your net worth is. You just know that if you increase your cash flow, increase your gross profit, and increase your revenues, your business is going to be worth more money over time, especially if you have owned assets within the business and more owned assets within the business. Let's go with that. As you increase your assets in the business, as you increase the stickiness to your customers and every transaction that happens, your business becomes more and more valuable if customers are not able to switch as easy because you are so ingrained into their processes. But that's my thoughts. I don't really have too many thoughts on it. I just know that as an entrepreneur, it's very hard to track your net worth. I used to track it a lot easier when I would just look at cash accounts, investment accounts, assets owned by me. It was a lot easier at that point in time. Now it's a little bit more difficult to track what my actual net worth is, but I can tell you I'm not struggling. I'm pretty happy with where I am in life. Being 29 years old and being in the hundreds of thousands and potentially into the millions in terms of a net worth, it's a very nice life. I also get to work whenever I want to, however I want to, with whom I want to, and no one can tell me how to do anything and who to be and where I have to be. And I don't know how it gets better. Not saying all that to brag, but if you are thinking about starting a business and you are thinking about it in terms of your net worth and how much it's going to skyrocket, you're never going to know until you go to sell your business as to what the actual true value of it is, because it's whatever someone who's willing to buy it is willing to pay is the value of your business at that time. You can see it differently. They may undervalue it. You may overvalue it. You'll never know. And you'll probably compromise somewhere in the middle or hopefully towards your end. But if you're thinking about starting a business, I would say do it. It's worth it, especially if you can get to the point where you can cash flow it and it gives you enough pay that you don't have to go into a different job and work for somebody else. Self-employment has been the most beautiful blessing of 2025 for me. I have loved it every single day. It does get difficult. It does get lonely. It's very stressful, but I would say it's still worth it overall. So if you're thinking about it, I wouldn't think about it from a net worth standpoint unless you're looking at it very way into the future. I don't have an exit plan for the company. I don't really ever plan on selling it. That's not what I'm building it to do. I'm building it to have it forever and pass it on to my future kids. Should that plan ever change, you'll know about it. But as of right now, I don't want to sell. I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. And I would be very inclined to tell you all to do the same. I hope you start it in 2026.